Have you ever quietly wondered if you still truly understand what gives a woman real pleasure? For many men, especially after 60, there is a silent doubt that lingers. You have been with your partner for years, you know her body, but deep inside you question if she still feels the same intensity she once did. Research shows that a surprising number of women admit to faking orgasm at some point, often to protect the man they love. And that thought alone can feel heavy. But here is the truth. The ability to bring her satisfaction is not gone. It never leaves you. It simply requires a different rhythm, a sequence you were never really taught. Today, I will share with you the 6 proven steps that unlock her climax and transform intimacy into connection again. If this message speaks to you, I invite you to stay with me until the end. Please subscribe to the channel so we can continue sharing conversations like this. Leave a like if this resonates with your journey and share it with a friend. And tell us in the comments where you are watching from and how old you are. You will see you are not alone in this. One of the most common silent issues men face is believing that female pleasure is automatic, when in reality it follows a very specific biological rhythm. The truth is that her body is not failing, and neither are you. The real obstacle is that most men skip the sequence her nervous system needs to reach climax. Female arousal begins in the brain, not the body. Stress, fatigue, and distractions activate the sympathetic nervous system, the same system that prepares us to fight or flee. In this state, her body cannot easily relax into pleasure, no matter how much desire she feels. What she needs first is activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, which controls relaxation and arousal. Without this shift, physical touch alone often feels incomplete. This explains why so many women report difficulty reaching orgasm through penetration alone. It is not lack of attraction, but lack of rhythm. Once men understand that arousal is a biological sequence, emotional connection, clitoral stimulation, gradual buildup, and only then deeper intimacy, the entire experience transforms. This knowledge removes blame and replaces frustration with clarity and confidence. When it comes to intimacy, many men over 60 unknowingly repeat silent mistakes that keep their partners from experiencing full satisfaction. The first mistake is rushing. Out of habit or excitement, men often move directly to penetration, believing this alone should be enough. Yet studies confirm that fewer than 1 in 4 women reach orgasm this way. For the majority, skipping the earlier steps makes the experience incomplete. The second mistake is ignoring timing. Stimulation of areas like the G-spot too early, before her body is fully aroused, can feel uncomfortable or even irritating. This often leads men to think something is wrong, when in fact the sequence simply was not followed. Another silent mistake is neglecting emotional connection. Performance anxiety, distraction, or mechanical behavior can make her feel unseen. Women notice when presence is missing, and this absence can shut down arousal more quickly than anything physical. The fourth mistake is lack of communication. Many men assume that what worked for a past partner, or even earlier in the same relationship, will always work. In truth, every woman's body changes with age, hormones, and circumstances. Without asking, listening, and observing her reactions, it is easy to miss what she truly needs in the moment. Finally, the mistake most overlooked is neglecting one's own health. Circulation, stamina, and confidence are the foundations of male performance. Without energy, strong blood flow, and focus, even the best technique falls short. These silent errors accumulate, leaving both partners unsatisfied, yet they are completely reversible. Awareness is the first step to change. Throughout history, different cultures developed natural practices to cultivate intimacy and enhance pleasure long before modern science tried to explain them. In traditions like Ayurveda and Taoism, sexual energy was seen as a rhythm, not a performance. Men were taught that pleasure unfolds in layers, beginning with stillness and patience. One of the most forgotten solutions today is the simple act of sequencing touch in harmony with her body's biology. Clitoral stimulation, for instance, is not optional, it is the foundation. With over 8,000 nerve endings, this small but powerful organ is the key to unlocking deeper responses in the entire pelvic region. Yet stimulation should begin gently, allowing blood flow to increase gradually, softening tissues and awakening sensitivity. Once arousal is established, the body responds to more focused touch, whether at the G-spot or through blended stimulation. Another natural solution is the emphasis on breath and presence. Deep breathing slows the heart rate, relaxes tension, and engages the parasympathetic nervous system, the state in which female pleasure thrives. Touch combined with breath becomes an amplifier of arousal. Even non-sexual gestures, holding, kissing slowly, whispering, prime the nervous system for intimacy. What makes these solutions powerful is not complexity, but timing. They respect her sequence: emotional safety, gradual stimulation, expansion, and then deeper connection. When men return to these natural rhythms, intimacy is no longer a struggle or a test of performance. It becomes a shared flow where both partners feel seen, heard, and fulfilled. James was 62 when he quietly admitted to himself that something was missing in his marriage. He loved his wife deeply, but every time they were intimate, he noticed a shadow of disappointment in her eyes. For years, he assumed this was just part of aging, that passion simply faded with time. But one evening, after reading an article about female arousal, he realized he might have been overlooking the most important steps. Instead of rushing, he decided to slow down. He began with simple changes: longer kisses, gentle touches, and more conversation before intimacy. He learned to focus on her clitoris first, giving patient attention rather than moving quickly toward penetration. At first, the change felt awkward, almost unnatural, but within weeks, he saw her responses shifting. Her body softened under his touch, her breathing deepened, and moments of true connection began to return. For the first time in years, she reached orgasm with him, and the tears in her eyes afterward were not of frustration, but relief. James realized the problem had never been age. It was the silence around what women really need. By changing his approach, he gave his wife not just pleasure, but the gift of feeling desired and understood again. Their intimacy became less about performance and more about trust, laughter, and presence. It was proof that with awareness and patience, passion can reignite at any stage of life. As men grow older, it is easy to believe that intimacy must decline, that passion fades naturally with age. Yet the truth is simpler and more hopeful. The body is not broken. It only needs the right rhythm. What often stands in the way is not a lack of love or desire, but the silence around what truly supports female pleasure. When we understand that arousal is a sequence: emotional safety, gentle clitoral focus, gradual expansion, and deeper connection, everything begins to change. These steps are not about becoming someone else, but about remembering how intimacy was meant to be: patient, attentive, and shared. For many men, learning this sequence feels like rediscovering a language they once knew but had forgotten. And when they speak it again, the results are not only physical satisfaction, but emotional closeness that restores confidence on both sides. The message here is that pleasure does not belong to youth alone. With care, presence, and willingness to learn, intimacy after 60 can be richer and more fulfilling than ever before. Your partner does not need perfection. She needs your attention, your breath, and your willingness to move at her pace. These are gifts every man can offer, and they transform relationships in ways no quick fix ever could. If this message touched something inside you, thank you for staying until the end. Many men silently wonder if they are truly giving their partner the pleasure she deserves, and the truth is that small changes can transform everything. If you found value here, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. It helps us continue bringing honest, science-based conversations about intimacy, aging, and health. Please also leave a like if this resonated with your journey, and share it with someone you trust, maybe a close friend, a brother, or even someone from your walking group who might need this reminder. And in the comments, tell us, have you ever struggled with doubts about intimacy? What steps have helped you reconnect with your partner? What topics would you like us to explore next? Your story matters, and by sharing it, you remind others they are not alone. Together, we can create a space of trust, wisdom, and renewal at any stage of life.